afternoon. Welcome to Toronto Comicon, Day 3. Thank you for coming. I knew this session would be full because this is one of the fan favorites over the years. We're always enjoying his company and we welcome him back to the show. Please welcome Mr. Jonathan Frakes.
Thank you very much. 50 feet, that's all I've got. Thank you all for coming. What a pleasure to see everybody. I love Toronto. A little better attended than my first Star Trek convention. Syracuse, New York, dead of winter. The show had just come on the air. The audience was very, very, very skeptical about what the Next Generation was. Very pro Spock and Kirk and very anti the old bald guy who took over. And I was a nervous wreck, and I was standing in the dealer's room because I'd never done it before. I didn't know what was expected of me. I didn't know what it was going to be like. I had no idea what this whole thing, this whole world was, and I'm now part of. And in the dealer's room, there was a table selling action figures, the younger, sort of thinner version of all of us, and they had a limited die-lot Data for $40, and then they're selling Geordie LaForge for $45, and Patrick, old baldy Captain Picard for $50. And at the end of the table is a sign that says, "Buy any action figure, get Riker free." Humbling, but true. Now, if I came over and kibitzed with you, would that upset you?
Pardon?
If I came over and kibitzed with you, would that upset you? This is kibitz! I'm really not that kind of guy. I just worked with Will Wheaton, who you may or may not remember, plays Crusher, on a great show called Powers, which is Brian Bendis' graphic novel. And Will Wheaton is now an adult, as you probably know. He looks strangely like Riker.
That's true.
Anyway, I was reminded of when he was a kid. He grew up on our show, and when he got his driver's license, he bought a Honda, just like Patrick had. And we were finished work one day, we were walking back to the car park, the garage, and Will Wheaton said to me, "You know, Frakes, I can tell by the clothes that you wear and by the music that comes out of your dressing room. You used to be cool, didn't you?" Oh, shit. Sorry. I don't usually talk like that. Little shit. That's fun to watch. Shall I fill you in on what's going on with some of our other cast members? Yes. I had the privilege of having dinner with Mr. Stewart, Sir Patrick, the other night, who's in the middle of Blunt Talks. Have you seen that on Stars?
Yeah.
Kind of a new version of his life. LeVar has relaunched Reading Rainbow and is producing Roots. Mr. Spiner is on a new television series on Sci-Fi called Nobody? What's the name of the show that Spiner's on? I forgot it. The lovely Gates is in running her theater company. Marina Sirtis is following her football. Waiting to go back on NCIS. All is well with the world, let's say. He's trying to get a series made with him as Captain Worf. That's the skinny on those guys. If you don't have any questions, I'm sure. Sir.
So nervous, Mr. Frakes.
Frakes. Nervous?
You're probably best known for your role as Marty Green in the movie Beach Patrol. Are there any other roles you think are underrated?
No wonder you're nervous. He asked me about Marty Green. Right?
Yeah.
Marty Green was a character I played in an ill-fated television pilot called Beach Patrol. I played a Jewish cop from Philly who was assigned to work at the beach in Venice, California. Good casting, I think. Very likely. It was produced by Aaron Spelling. And it was the only Aaron Spelling pilot that didn't sell. While we were making the show, everybody on the crew was from Charlie's Angels and from Starsky Husky and Starch, or Starsky and Hutch. And they said to all of us who were in the show, go out and buy cars, go buy a house, you guys can be on TV for the next 20 years. Something about Marty Green and Beach Patrol just didn't happen. But thanks for bringing it up. Anybody else? Yeah, Mom.
Yeah, I was wondering what your fondest memories of Roddenberry and Majel were.
Ooh, you remind me. He's asking about Gene Roddenberry and Majel. First, I'll tell you a wonderful story about Gene. First I'll tell you what I was just reminded of. I read a script this week called The Pilot, written by a very clever young man named James Darling. The Pilot is a movie being shot in Toronto about the making of the original pilots of Star Trek, the original series. There were 2 pilots. You knew that, yes? Yeah. And they were made with Lucille Ball's company, with Desi Lu. You knew that? Yes. And it involves Gene's relationships with Nichelle and Majel and his wife. Anyway, it's a sort of tell-all, fascinating, well-written script. So here's a little teaser for an independent movie that's coming to your town. I'm Jonathan. Amanda, very nice to meet you. Thank you for helping. Did you do mime as well? Oh my God! You don't do Old Man at the Parade? Gene Roddenberry. I'll get serious for a hot second, then I promise it'll be over. When I was auditioning to be on Star Trek, I auditioned 7 times over 6 weeks, right? And each time that I auditioned, I had to go, started with the casting people, and I went to the producers, and it became, you had to go and sort of meet different heads of Paramount and finally get the blessing. Gene Roddenberry was sort of he liked Riker. Riker, I think he saw some of himself in Riker. He wrote Riker with that in mind. It was, by the end of it, it came down to me and I think a wonderful Canadian actor, actually. Is Billy Campbell Canadian?
Yeah.
Anyway, the last few auditions, I had to go to Gene's office. And I'd sit in there with Gene and I'd prepare with Corey Allen, the director. And one of the things Gene said to me, because he really believed in this world that he created, he said, in the 24th century, there will be no hunger and there will be no greed. And all of the children will know how to read. Gene Roddenberry. See? Honorable applause, applause, Gene. And Majel, his wife, who played Marina's mother on the show, was hysterical. You know, Rod Roddenberry, his son, is now attached to this new CBS Digital Star Trek project that Kurtzman is doing. You guys know about this thing, yes? Yep. Yeah. And did you see who else was attached? The wonderful and talented Nicholas Meyer. Wrath of God, yes? Oh. A rumble, a soft rumble to the house. Anyway, I'm trying to get on that project as well. So help me lobby for it. Yes, sir.
Hey, I also wanted to know about the celebrity poker CD-ROM game. Well, how that came out, but also were you yourself a poker aficionado? Did that relate to the poker that was played on the series?
Nice to see you. What did you think of that question about the poker game? Excellent question, right? Should I answer? Okay, I guess so. He asked about a celebrity poker game. It's like a CD-ROM. It was a video. It was. I remember. I made the fucking thing up. You know who else was in it? Morgan Fairchild. What about that lineup? Morgan Fairchild, Joe Piscopo, and Jonathan Frakes. But 2 get 1 free. So I lost track of the question. Do I play poker? I play poker not well. I always thought on the show, Star Trek The Next Generation, that it was not the brightest idea for Riker to sit at a poker table with an android who was brilliant, a guy with goggles on that could see through the cards, a Klingon who could kill you. What was I doing in that game? Right? Nice beard. Remember when your beard was black? Good old days, weren't they? I remember it well. Yes, sir. Wait a minute. Are you gonna play? No.
I was curious, why did you start to play trombone when you were young, and how did that get onto the show?
I was curious, why did you start to play the trombone when you were young, and how did that get on the show? I went to public school at Jefferson Elementary School, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And they had a certain number of musical instruments in the 4th grade. So the person with the longest arms got the trombone. You know what else they call the trombone? Slush pump. Right? One day, Mr. Morris Hurley, who was the executive producer of the first season of Star Trek The Next Generation, took me to lunch and he said, "What do you like to do?" And I said, "I like to listen to music, I play trombone, I like to go fishing." So the next thing I know, there's a script with a beautiful minuet and Riker's playing the trombone. Hence that. And when you hear the show, when you see the show and hear the show, the trombone playing that's sort of loud and okay, that's me. The trombone playing that's really beautifully played, that's a great trombonist named Bill Watrous, truth be told. One time on the bridge, Worf, big old turtle head, you know. He was so miserable up on the horseshoe behind Captain Pecan, the wackiest man in the galaxy, that he came into work with an egg. He took the egg, he leaned over the horseshoe, and he crushed it on Patrick's head. A human and yolk dripping down Walter's face. Fact or fiction? Man?
I don't think it's true.
Yeah.
Fiction. What made me think of that? I think it's the freedom that you all provide here in Toronto. The freedom to be myself. Where's my little Amanda? Where's she going? Thank you for your help today and all weekend. You've been fabulous. And you've been fabulous. And you've been fabulous. Oh, yes. What is the most difficult part of going from acting to directing? When you're an actor, generally, you worry about your part, your lines, your arc, your story, your relationships. When you're a director, you worry about everybody's arc and relationships, and the production design, and the cinematography, and setting up the shot, and the props, and the wardrobe. So it's a little more fulfilling and exhausting. But it's the best job in the world. Yes?
Clearly you like beer, you commented on it. Remembering when it was
Oh, yes.
but in the first season of TNG, you had no beer. Clearly you kept the beer once you threw it.
How did that happen?
Yeah.
I'll tell you a little story. About a man named Jim, poor mountaineer there. He was shooting at some food. All that is. Go! Texas tea! Next thing you know, little kids in the shaker. That's so cruel! After the first season, there was a writer's strike. During the writer's strike, I didn't shave because I didn't like to shave. So we showed up at a meeting. It was Roddenberry, Patrick, Brent, Rick Berman, and Roddenberry said, look at my Roddenberry impersonation, Jonathan, I love the beard. I love the beard. We'll keep it. It's nautical. Great. So they said, let's trim it. So we went down to the makeup trailer, and armed with eyeliner pencils, Roddenberry and Furman and the king of makeup, Michael Westmore, drew on my face the shape they thought this nautical, now decorative beard should be. So, drew, they decided they they schmoozed about it. And then they cut parts of my facial hair off, and I went on into the soundstage, and they did a screen testing, put it on camera, see what it looked like. And they ended up with whatever this shape is. Nobody from the studio commented on, said a word. The beard was ahead with, certainly with me and others. And then about 6 months into the second season, a memo comes down from on high, one of those people that I had to audition for. It said, we need to reduce Riker's beard by about 5% at the lower left side. Hence the nautical decorative beard. See what I have here? Little man-made communicator from Catherine. Where is she? Not here. I wore this and she come from here. Well, I heard the language. Yes, sir.
Tell us about the origins of Riker maneuver and
What is the Riker maneuver?
when you would sit in a chair.
Ah! Because I thought you were going to talk about the Picard maneuver. What was that about? You're just going from here to there. I never understood why I walked like that. But I did. I'm going to give you the Riker maneuver, dude. I got you covered here. So the chair's there, right? The ship is being bombarded by phasers from an alien vessel, right? You remember those scenes where bouncing around? I'd be throwing myself around in my chair here like this, taking all these hits. The beautiful and talented Marina Sirtis would be 2 chairs away. Throw yourself elegantly so she look great. Hair flow, her boobs will look huge. And in the middle, our great captain, Sir Patrick Stewart. Here's what I'd hear. He'd rumble in his chair. Because the phasers didn't affect him quite as much here. So I'd hear him moving around slightly, and under his breath, he'd say to me, "Oh, Jonathan." Take a few more hits. "Oh, Jonathan." 25 years in the Royal Shakespeare Company for this! True story! How about that egg story somebody told earlier? Ay, ay, ay. Got boxed in here. Yes, sir.
So you played
Did play David Xanatos in Gargoyles. That show is too smart for TV, am I right?
Oh yeah.
I was just wondering how you...
See, most people just sit up here at the panel, right, and just answer questions. Maybe I'm gonna go for the boring approach, huh? To what do you attribute the continued success of Star Trek? Well, I think it's the vision of hope for the future. Go ahead, it's all yours. Xanatos?
I was just wondering how you preferred for one of like voice acting versus
Comedy, man. Comedy, you come for the comedy. Stay for the stories. Right? I want to clean this up before Jason Isaacs gets in here. He's not gonna like the mess. Xanatos. You know, I'm on another voice show. What do you call those things? Cartoons. I played Will Friedel's father in Guardians of the Galaxy. That little tidbit, nobody cares. Red alert! Awkward silence. That's going for you. Good room, right? Yeah. Your hair is blue, right? Okay, cool. Did I answer your question? Did I dance around the question? Did I avoid the question? I avoided the question. Go ahead.
Hi.
Oh, it is like regular acting, voice acting is. Only you go to work in your pajamas. Because you went to work in your pajamas on Star Trek. I hated my spacesuit. I hated my spacesuit. Worst part of the job, no pockets, first of all. I'm done. I'm not going to do any more spacesuit jokes. Too easy. Okay. Voice acting is lovely. Acting is lovely. I get another acting job that I want you guys to look out for on a comedy called Angie Tribeca,
Oh.
starring the wonderful and talented Rashida Jones, right?
Yes.
From Parks and Rec, who is my new favorite. She's hysterical. The dog drives the car on the show. Okay. And while I'm shamelessly self-promoting, I shot a movie in Winnipeg, you may know where that is, called Devil's Gate, which should be out any minute now. He says, hopefully. Yes, sir.
How's your experience working with deaf people that switched at birth? You directed some of those episodes.
Yes. What was that guy's name? What was his name? We had, no, the guy on Switched at Birth. He's lovely.
Sean?
The whole show is a pleasure to work on. And they're just celebrating their 100th episode. And I hope to go back there this season. switched at birth. But we had a deaf actor who had a group of people with him on
Chorus.
the chorus. Yeah, remember that episode?
Yes, it's amazing.
Beautiful episode. What was that actor's name? Come on!
Oh, yeah,
You guys don't even know the name of the show that Brett's on!
That's Brett.
Come on. The episode with the chorus, Howie Seagull. That was good.
That was
And you know who one of the chorus members was? Little known star. Delancey's wife, you're all over it. 2 for 2. What? Her name is Marnie. And what's the name of the show that Brent's on? You're on a roll! Outcast? Yes. I think it is. I think it is Outcast. In the back. You. Did I ever have a scene? Hi. Are you texting? No texting while driving. Did I ever have a scene on Next Generation where I felt embarrassed? Daily. What the other quality? Awkward? Always. That's how I roll though, embarrassed and awkward. At the moment. How you doing? You having a good time here? Now, what was your best part of the convention? Besides this moment. You just got here! Where have you been all weekend? What, do you have a job? Embarrassed and awkward. See what I did there? It's on you. Whose idea was it to write Riker as a ladies' man? Was that the question? Right, Riker? Riker. Riker. Are you recording this? Are you going to sell it? I've been here for 3 hours? Have I been talking for 3 hours? Is that possible? It started in time. I think they wanted to do a little homage to Captain Kirk, and then they sort of ran out of steam. Because Riker, as you may or may not remember, was in love with and attached to his Imzadi, the beautiful and talented Counselor Troy, correct? We came on the ship together, having had a relationship, we could read each other's minds, we looked longingly at each other as if we cared, right? And then the writers swept that under the carpet, and they brought in the, aliens for me to schnook. Klingons, Ringloides, Cardassians. I love you, Amanda. My love for you will never die. I need you, Amanda. I'm a one-gal guy. This is great. Oh yeah, yes. What souvenirs did I keep in the show? I stole 2 spacesuits and 1 stager. No. You know what? I used to remember, I always thought it was odd. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wild Bill Riker was the first officer on the spaceship. There were like thousands of people on the ship, allegedly, right? I lived in quarters. I lived in a room. I lived in a little suite on the ship somewhere. I had a spacesuit. Did 182 episodes in 4 movies. I had a spacesuit and 1 blue shirt. That's it? You're in space for a 50-year mission, you have 1 shirt and a spacesuit? Oh, maybe I did. Sir, I do have some new time for more shameless self-promotion! Right up my alley! Woo! I'm on fire now, right? I'm warmed up. I didn't know what it was going to be like, but now I like where we're going. I like where it is. I like the way it feels. I think rearranging the furniture helps. I feel better. I feel more at home. I feel freer. I'm producing this year and directing the series called The Librarians. Starring the wonderful and talented Noah Wiley, Jane Curtin, John Larroquette, Rebecca Romaine, Christine Kane, a wonderful Canadian actress, right? Lindy Booth, John Kim. How about that? Then I go back to NCIS LA, then I go back to Switched at Birth, doing this thing called Powers. Hopefully go back on Castle. I'm very lucky. I'm a very, very lucky man. Sir. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going.
Come on over.
Me?
I feel like you want me to be closer to you. Am I right? Thank you. I worship you.
I'm going to go where no man has gone before, and okay, I'm going to boldly go where no man has gone before and ask you a question that's probably never been asked before. I know you have this theater background and probably improv. Can you make my holiday dream come true and do an improv with me as commander director? A quick improv.
Oh my God. Oh, yes. What do you got? Are we going to pick a place, a time, a situation?
Sure, yeah.
Does it involve taking off our clothes? Okay, will there be physical contact of any kind? Any props?
If you want.
Singing? Interpretive dance? Right? What do we got?
Okay. Commander Riker. Lieutenant.
What do I call you?
Lieutenant Jason reporting for duty, sir. But introductions later. First,
Report to the bridge. Report! Lieutenant Jason, go, 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 go! This one is holiday!
Riker, first we have to determine.
Commander!
Oh. First we have to determine where we are. What planet are we on?
You're asking me? Let's go to La Forge. I never knew where we were. I never had any idea where we were. That's what Geordi and Data were for. They didn't shit on the bridge with the boats. I walk on the bridge. Everybody has a job except me. What do I say when I'm part of the bridge? Report. Tell me what's going on. I don't know where. I never knew where we were. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to snap at you. Do you identify with Data?
No, I think I identify with you more. You're the man.
So that's why the reference to the color of the uniform you were wearing. It's science color, is it not?
Yes, that's what it is.
Ensign Jason. So you thought. Scene. My life is improv. Awkward, right? Super awkward. And yet somehow strangely funny at moments. Thank you, man. Yes. Oh, how did I like working on North and South? First of all, I was lucky enough to fall in love with my beautiful wife, Jean Francis, while I was on North and South. 30 years. 30 years of marital bliss. Right? Anybody here married? It's easy, right? Smooth sailing. Just like in the movies. Oh, I love North and South. I talked about Patrick Swayze with somebody yesterday, the late great Patrick Swayze. That was a great experience, great show, and I have nothing but fond memories of it, having done it. those serious moments, a serious answer. It happens occasionally. Where do you think we should go next? What do I pick out the next question for me? You.
Tasha Yar graced us with her presence on The Walking Dead recently.
Oh.
Are you interested in more than the show?
Tasha Yar graced you with her presence on Walking Dead recently. Am I interested in being on the show? I've been begging to get on the show. Gail Ann Hurd, who produces the show, produced Clock Stoppers.
Yeah.
Clock Stoppers, remember Clock Stoppers? Wonderful, successful film. It sort of went like this. First Contact, huge hit. Insurrection, medium hit. Clock Stoppers, made a little money. Thunderbirds. Oliver Schultz. Goodbye. Rest in peace. My cinematographer for Thunderbirds is here. Brendan Galvin, ladies and gentlemen. A genius, an artist, also shooting in Toronto. A series ironically called, since he's shooting in Toronto, called American Gods. Starring Ian McShane.
Wow.
Shot by the brilliant Brendan Galvin. It's really sorry you came to visit me today. Yeah, man.
How are you?
Never better. How are you?
Great.
Nice beard. Very Rikerian. Decorative. Nautical. Yeah.
Before I ask my question,
Uh-huh.
thank you for helping make Star Trek such a great show to watch. That was fantastic. Now, I have to ask though, whose bright idea was to put a cheap $30 joystick on the Enterprise?
Oh.
I had that thing on my head.
Whose bright idea was it to put the cheap $30 joystick on the Enterprise in Insurrection? Do you want to know whose idea it was? For real?
Yours?
No! No. I meant shitty ideas. That wasn't one of them. I made some bad choices. Thunderbirds. But that wasn't one of them. Too easy. Too easy. God, I hope that mess gets cleaned up before Karen Allen gets in here. She will be pissed. Rick Berman thought it would somehow capture the gaming audience. I think it was Rick's idea. If not, I'm blaming him. He's a friend, I can blame him. Rick Berman's wife, Liz Berman, is my son Jameson Frakes' godmother. Little known fact. See? That's what you get out of these conventions. Whew. Amanda? You want to pick me another one? You know we've been up here 3 hours? It doesn't feel like 3 hours. It feels like 5. Oh, good fault, right? Where are we going next?
Aside from being able to come to work in your pajamas, what was the best and the worst part about being on Gargoyles?
What was the best and worst part about being on Gargoyles?
Aside from being able to work in your pajamas.
The best and worst part of being on Gargoyles was free food, great bagels as I recall, Marina Sirtis, Ed Asner, Keith David, Kate Mulgrew, Brent Spiner, Greg Weisman. It was a great gig. I wish that show was still on the air. It's hard to crack into that voiceover world. There's about 100 people that do all of it, from what I can gather. And most of it Will Friedel's doing. Where's he today? Is he coming out to see you guys?
Yeah, he was here yesterday.
Did he tell lies yesterday? Was he charming and witty? I know. I used to be witty and charming. Those were the days, my friend. I thought they'd never end. You're determined. Are you determined to be called on? Have you been good? Have you been very good? Go!
So I think it's safe to say that I was the only 4-year-old girl that was rather watching Up Next Trend rather than the Disney movie. And I always found that the entire crew was such an inspiration in my own life and growing up. And I was wondering what your inspiration for making Riker and Star Trek what it was, and that dream, other than Roddenberry's dream of making the 23rd century so much better than what we have, the one had.
Great question. I wish I had as great an answer. She asked about what? She asked about. She shared how important Star Trek was to you, correct? And I was just blessed to be on the show, to be honest. The writing was there, Roddenberry's vision was there. In the beginning, it was just another audition. I had no idea that I would be so privileged as to continue to see all you guys. You know the show's 30 years old. The show wasn't even on when you were born. Yeah, I mean, it's before you were even born! It's so weird, isn't it? It continues to be a gift because of stories like that. All levity aside, it is, the best part of being at these conventions is when people say things like you just said, or I became an engineer because, or I became an astronaut because, or I became a doctor because, or the best time I had with my family was when we watched the show, or the only time my father was nice to me was when we watched the show. Seriously. Or people recovering from illnesses or accidents saying the show helped them. That is humbling and a gift. And to be lucky enough to be part of it, I thank God every day. Thank you very much. I'll leave you with a song. Oh, Lordy!
Oh!
Don't try it!
Whoa!
Really? Thank you all for coming. It's been a blast. See you soon. God bless. Live long and prosper.